Hello YouTube, my name's Nero and today we have some Hearthstone, and what we're going to be doing in this particular video is something a bit different from what I usually do with my Hearthstone videos. Usually it's just live gameplay, playing either in ranked or playing the arena or maybe playing against subscribers in private matches, but what we're going to be doing in this one is actually talking about Hearthstone a little bit. It's going to be a bit different. So the thing I wanted to discuss in today's video is the possibility of two, not just one, but two new hero classes coming to Hearthstone. So if you guys don't know Hearthstone itself, it's a great game, fun game, collectible card game here on the internet, but it's also set in the Warcraft universe, and it's based upon World of Warcraft. Now, chances are probably a lot of you guys haven't played that game. It's a very old MMORPG that still has millions of people playing it, but still, it's a rather old game. The graphics are pretty bad, and a lot of people haven't tried it out or gotten into it, which is understandable. But in that game, there are more classes than what we have here in Hearthstone. The classes that we have here in Hearthstone are just the default classes that initially came to the game. There have been two brand new classes that have come to World of Warcraft over the course of the game's life cycle. So let's go ahead and hop into World of Warcraft and show you exactly what I'm talking about. So here we are at the character creation screen. So here are all the different races. Here's the Alliance, here's the Horde. These are like the two big factions in the game. Then the Pandaren, after you complete their starting zone, they can choose to go either to the Horde or over to the Alliance, depending on what you want to do with them. But here on the right are all of the classes. And of course, every race can only be certain classes. Not every race can be every class, and etc. So here we are with the Warrior, big tough Warrior, big old Orc Warrior. Let's go over here to Human, and we can go down to Paladin. This is Paladin, of course, which is in Hearthstone. Let's go down here to Dwarf and Hunter. Here we go. It's kind of cool about the Hunter class is they have like a different starting pet, because the Hunters contain pets. They have a different starting pet for each class you pick. So let's go up to Human and Hunter. There we go. You get Wolf instead. You go to Orc Hunter, you get a Boar. Undead Hunter, you get a big Spider. Tauren Hunter, you get was that Plane Strider, I suppose. There's cards of that in Hearthstone, actually. But yeah, so there is the Hunter. Let's go to Rogue. I guess we'll go on to Goblin here, because Goblins are just awesome. There's the Rogue class, which of course is in Hearthstone. Let's go to Priest, and let's switch up characters. Night Elf Priest, I guess. Yeah, that looks weird. How about a female Night Elf Priest? There we go. That's definitely a lot better. Shaman. We'll go Tauren Shaman. There we go. Tauren Shaman. There we go. Of course, that is in Hearthstone as well. A Mage. Blood Elf Mage, I suppose. There you go. Blood Elf Mage. We have the Warlock. We'll stay at Blood Elf, I suppose. Or maybe we'll even go over to Worgen, which are weird, like werewolf people. But yeah, there's the Warlock, and then Druid, right? So we got the Warlock class as well. I guess we can go over to controls be Warlocks? No. Okay, they can be Druids. Okay, they can definitely be Druids. All right, that's what we're looking for. So those are the different classes, right? We have every single class that Hearthstone has here in this game. We got the Warrior, we got the Paladin, we have the Hunter, the Rogue, the Priest, the Shaman, the Mage, the Warlock, and the Druid. But ladies and gentlemen, you'll notice there are two other classes here in World of Warcraft. There is the Death Knight and there is the Monk. So World of Warcraft has been out for a very, very long time. During the second expansion, which was... I didn't even play the game at that point. It was like... When was Wrath of the Lich King out? Like... It was before 2010. I know that. How about that? It was before 2010. They came out with the Wrath of the Lich King expansion. As part of that expansion, they actually gave Death Knights, which are basically fallen heroes that were raised, risen up, like resurrected to be these evil people, and then you have to break free from that. And if you actually go into more info, you can read a bit about the class. And so maybe from this, we can learn a bit about what these classes are going to potentially be like once they are actually introduced to Hearthstone. So let's go ahead and read this. So Death Knight, their role is tanking and damage. They don't do any healing. They wear heavy armor. They're former servants of the Lich King. They start level 55. They combine melee combat with spells, diseases, and undead minions, and they use runes and runic power as resources. Perhaps this is stuff that we could kind of incorporate into Hearthstone in one way or another. Of course, I have no idea what the hero powers and what the different kind of cards would be like in here, but like they said, there's going to be featuring spells and diseases and undead minions and resurrecting stuff. Like a lot of stuff we saw in the Curse of Naxxramas expansion, Death Knights could possibly be like that. And of course, Death Knights, I believe every class besides Pandaren can be a Death Knight. So let's just scroll through here and just show you what they look like, just for the sake of a little gnome Death Knight or a goblin Death Knight. They're little tiny things. It's actually kind of funny. But let's actually go ahead and read what it says right here. And forgive me if I slur my words here, because for whatever reason, I'm terrible at reading when I'm doing videos. Just horrible at it. But these former agents of the Scourge have now allied themselves with the Alliance or Horde. Basically, you get to do the whole starting zone, and depending on which race you pick, or which race you pick, that decides which side you're on. If you're one of these 6 races, you're going to be on the Horde. One of these 6 races, you'll be on the Alliance. But they have alliance with Alliance and Horde. Death Knights are a hero class, which means they start at a high level. Death Knights use runes as their primary resource. Each of the 3 types of rune is used for different abilities. Death Knights have more range capabilities than most melee classes, with an emphasis on causing diseases and doing damage with their undead pets. Their primary stat is strength and also stamina if tanking. So the stamina and tanking and strength, that really doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Hearthstone, at least in that context, but the emphasis on causing diseases and doing damage with undead minions and possibly raising up dead minions, stuff like that is what I would picture the Death Knight class being like if it were actually brought to Hearthstone, which would be pretty cool if you ask me. So what we're actually going to do, just for the sake of it, before we talk about the monk, just to kind of show you guys this, because it's really, really cool, I'm just going to create this character. I'm just going to call it Nero, because it doesn't really matter. I'm going to delete the character afterwards, and I'm actually just going to show you the opening cinematic for when you create a Death Knight. It's going to kind of get you thinking, man, Death Knight would be an awesome class to actually have coming to Hearthstone. So apparently, wait, what? It can only contain letters. These are all letters. Okay, so we'll just go Nero. Okay. How about Nero's Shinima? All misspelled and stuff. There we go. All right, let's enter the world and show you guys exactly what this cutscene is going to be like.
A hero. That's what you once were. You stood boldly against the shadow and purchased another dawn for the world with your life. But the evil you fought is not so easily banished. The victory you claimed, not so easily held. For now, the specter of death looms above the world yet again, and it has found new champions to bring about its final reign. Knights of darkness, wielding runes of death and destruction, bound by the will of the Lich King. This is the hour of their ascension. This is the hour of your dark rebirth.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the cutscene for Death Knight. So it's a pretty cool class. I think it would be pretty interesting if they were to add this to Hearthstone. If I had to guess who the hero would be, just from like a lore perspective, it would probably be Arthas, aka the Lich King, because he's like the most famous, most notable Death Knight in existence. That would probably be the hero. If I had to throw some guesses as to what they would do, I would imagine, once again, that they would incorporate different things involving either diseases or plagues and like the rising of dead soldiers. Like something dies and you get like a bonus if things actually die, you know, that kind of a class would be pretty interesting. Now, as for monks, they're a bit different. There's no cool cutscene for me to show you, because basically most classes can be a monk, and there's no specific monk starting zone. It's just pick whatever class you want, and then you have, you'll start in their particular starting zone, and you'll just be a monk. You know, so the monks themselves actually have a cool little abilities. They can be either a tank, a healer, or a damage dealer, so they can do lots of different stuff. So the cards they would have in Hearthstone are, of course, going to involve both healing as well as doing damage, which would be pretty interesting. And they are basically masters of martial arts. They move quickly around the battlefield and avoid damage. They channel chi, or maybe chai energies. I would imagine it'd be chi, right? And keep light and dark forces in harmony. So the ancient monks of Pandaria developed their martial arts as a way of rebelling against their former overlords. Now the rediscovered Pandaren have begun to spread their monastic, is that a word? Monastic teaching to the other races of Azeroth, which is like the planet, I suppose. Monks are known for their skill in hand-to-hand fighting, relying on their fists and feet as much as their weapons. Healing monks are proficient in traditional medicine and often become spiritual leaders of their communities, and monks' primary stats depend on their role: agility for tanks and melee fighters, and intellect for healers. So, ladies and gentlemen, this class itself is going to involve a lot of... Basically, I suppose it's going to involve a lot of karate, martial arts kind of stuff, as well as mist. If you actually become like a healing monk, you are basically what they call a mist weaver, and you have like this awesome green-looking mist that you spread around and stuff. But of course, we don't actually have a cutscene for these guys. I can't show you like anything really cool for monks or anything. I can just kind of be like, hey, so here's what monks kind of look like, and they just look silly. A freaking gnome monk. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, so if they were to add these classes to Hearthstone, it would be pretty interesting, if you ask me, just by the very nature that we would have new classes. Now, of course, it's something that they're going to have to take a very long time with, because the balancing of Hearthstone is something that's very hard for them to do, right? It's always very hard for them to keep everything balanced. Of course, all the cards, well, not all cards, but most cards have gone through one change or another. They've changed around a lot of stuff. They, you know, nerf cards here, they buff cards there. They change around how cards work mechanically here. You know, they are constantly changing around stuff to try and make it so nothing is ridiculously broken within Hearthstone, or everything is relatively balanced. And the idea of adding a brand new hero, and of course, heroes themselves, they come with a whole laundry list of their own cards to play with. You think of like the warrior specific cards, the mage specific cards. All these guys have their own specific cards and their own specific, I don't want to call it play style, but it's basically that, a play style where, you know, you think of the warrior. The warrior is about armoring up and doing damage to their own minions, and because of that, they get enraged and they do a lot of cool damage. Rogues are all about having crazy combinations. You think of priests, they're really about healing and mind control and things like that. The mage is all about like big spells, you know, fire blasts and flame strikes and stuff like that. Warlocks are all about demons and, you know, being able to summon in demons and basically hurting themselves a lot to be able to get benefits from it, like hurting the hero itself. You know, hunters are all about having a lot of beasts and the synergy between them. Paladins are all about, you know, being able to heal as well as basically control things like with divine shields and stuff like that. So each class has their own specific, shall we call it, a play style, but in their own field to it. And so when they add in stuff like the Death Knight, they add in stuff like the Monk, they're going to need to add in these things pretty cautiously because everything has to be balanced, you know, because how are all the neutral cards? Like, keep in mind, there's a whole laundry list of neutral cards in the game. Those cards have to also be balanced within the Death Knight class, within the Monk class and stuff. So it's going to be happening. There's no doubt in my mind it's going to be happening. Of course, Blizzard hasn't actually announced anything about it, but it is going to probably be happening in the future because, you know, they're adding different stuff from World of Warcraft into Hearthstone itself, because of course it's based off World of Warcraft, so one's going to assume eventually they're going to be bringing in Death Knights, and then later on they'll bring in Monks, because if I recall correctly, the Death Knight came in during the 2nd expansion for WoW, and then the Monk came in the 4th expansion. So if they were to kind of release the same way they released in WoW, they're going to be coming into the game Death Knight first, and then we'll have the new Death Knight class, and no doubt everyone's going to be playing it because we're like, oh my god, new class, so everyone's going to be a Death Knight for like ages, and of course they'll have their own cards and stuff like that, and it'll be pretty cool. And then later on, like probably like a year later or something like that, they'll probably end up bringing in like the Monk. But Hearthstone itself's been out for over a year now, I want to say. Yeah, it's definitely been over a year, right? And we haven't seen a brand new hero yet, but no doubt in my mind, over the course of the game's life cycle, we're going to see more stuff like that. We had Curse of Naxxramas, we had the Blackrock Mountain adventure, we've had those 2 adventures so far, and we're going to, of course, have more adventures in the future, as well as new heroes are going to be coming to the game. I can almost guarantee they're going to be coming to the game. That's just going to be something that's going to be pretty cool. Once again, Death Knights as well as Monks would be the 2 new classes. Would definitely be a whole lot of fun. Definitely be a whole lot of fun. So that's why I just wanted to make today's video on. I just wanted to kind of discuss Hearthstone a little bit, show some random Hearthstone gameplay in the background for you guys, as well as just kind of discuss the possibility of new classes coming to Hearthstone. Once again, I have no idea what they would really be like. Like, I sat here and kind of racked my brain for a bit. I'm like, so if I could design it, what would the hero power of the Death Knight be? And it's like, I don't know. I have no idea. You know, press, you know, for 2 mana, you get to resurrect like a 1/1 skeleton or something. That's exactly like what the Paladin has. Like, it would be a lot to think about being able to come up with the hero powers for the Monks and the Death Knights. But if you guys have any suggestions, let me know in the comment section below. Or either way, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to leave a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.
Squire, attend me.
Ready, sir.
A fight! Go! A fight! Go! Everyone! Get in! Everyone! Get in here! To battle!
If you insist.
Tar, oh God!